Hello, 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 everybody. Hope everybody's having a blessed day and staying warm. The cold weather is upon us. God bless y'all. God bless America. I hope everybody's having a great, great day. We got the squirrel in the house, Muskrat JP3, Mr. James Dockery. Lyle Stokes is in the house. Great outdoors exploring. I hope Catfishing Crappie. Who else we got in here tonight? Mike Greenwell. What's going on? Fishing with the Chad. Who else? Don't want to miss nobody. Who else fishing right now? I see the cross couples in the house. Mike's outdoors. Moe Creek fishing. Palmetto. Finn Seeker. Buckeye. Jason Lamb. If I missed a name, I hope I didn't. I hope everybody's having a good night. Going to bring up a few things that's coming up. LG Bass, Mr. Justin Fishing Fetish, Junior War Scouts in the house, Kentucky Outdoors. What's up, Jim? But anyway, I'm going to start bringing in a few people here and there back onto the show. I've been trying to lay low a little bit, and there's Mike Sampson, Savvy's in the house, Tim Dockery. And saving most of that for Catfish Weekly. Glenn, what's up, Glenn? But I want to start bringing in a few people back into the show. I enjoyed doing that. But tonight I want to talk about last week or the week before last. Last week we didn't get to come on. So I hope everybody had a very fulfilling Thanksgiving. I know my belly got full. A little bucket of sunshine. Hello. But tonight, I want to talk the night before. Brain fart. My hat. See my hat? Catawba back outdoors. Creole. Buckeye. 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. 2 weeks ago, we talked about gear and stuff like that. Different tools was what I think I called it. The tools. Well, tonight, I want to go over a little bit about techniques. A lot of people say, well, there ain't that many techniques in the catfishing. Actually, they are a lot of techniques in catfishing. People use some of the same products, but use it in different ways. That's why I've always mentioned there's Sean in the house. That's why I've always mentioned that pay attention to even the newbies that's getting into it. I still consider myself a newbie, mainly because I don't get to fish as much as I would love to. But I will. 2021's coming around, and my boat plans on being on the water. But get back to techniques. I've sat and watched a lot of videos, a lot of y'all's videos, a lot of other people's videos, and some use the Demon Dragon, some use Dragon Shad, some use just a foam bobber, some don't even put no kind of float on their system. They just fish just a Carolina rig. But you've got Kentucky rigs, you've got all different kind of rigging that you can use for catfishing. But they are certain circumstances, whether you fish lakes or rivers, or whether I just sat and watched one of Dieter's videos where he's talking about they was moving so much water through the Catawba River chain. Excuse me. Oh, not one of those nights. They're moving so much water through the Catawba River chain that those lake catfish are laying down. Even the small catfish that he was catching had mud all over them. I don't know if that's because of so much current or the drop in water temperature. Junior said he's reeling a fish in. Well, get him up and send me a picture. I ain't been able to get out there. There's Wampus cat in the house. So those different techniques also can change on your own waters. Junior Proctor's in the house. Mike Irvin. If you're fishing your like Lake Wiley on the Catawba River chain, and they start moving tons of water, that's okay if they move it intermittent. The catfish are used to that. But if they start moving it day in and day out for days on the end, you're right, Mike. It's them little bitty details that can make all the difference and be on the same boat. You're exactly right, Mike. That's why I'm kind of going over this. Thank you for throwing that out there, Mike. And if y'all can think of anything else that I'm missing or not might need to bring up, please put it in the comments. Oh, I've got coffee, guys. I'm trying. But with mud on them. Yeah, a lot of that squirrel has depend on the temperatures of the water, temperatures of the whole lake itself. Excuse me. Gotta take me a Tylenol. So a lot of different things come into play. There's Mike Chavez. Your floats are in the mail, my friend. They should be there anytime. What's up, D? With those techniques changing, one day you might be fishing that Carolina rig, dragging baits down the lake, but the next day they start pulling current. Well, that day is probably going to be pretty good. But the second day they pull in current, the fish are going to start changing how they feed or if they feed. From what I understand, I just got started watching Dieter's video. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just got started before it's time to start the show. If you start seeing mud on those fish, and it might just be me, but when I start seeing mud on the fish, a good bit, a number of fish, then I usually take my float rigs off of my Carolina rig. I can go from a Santee just back to a plain Carolina rig. That's just me. I think that I want my bait down there closer to the bottom instead of suspended, put it right on their nose. All 4 rods was getting a bite, but only 2 with the sensitive tails got pulled down. Exactly right, Creole. It can come down to the action of the rod. It can come down to how far your line is. Junior Proctor, dragging weights across fish lead in the mud would cause them to move. Are you saying they might move to your bait or they might move away from your bait, Junior? And I'm going to go over a few things that me and Junior talked about today that kind of led me to tonight's show. Is that y'all watch Junior Proctor. He drags bait. He loves dragging bait. He drags bait. He'll drag 8 freaking planer boards. He's the only man I know that drags the amount of planer boards that he does. Hey, Shameless. S. Smith. What's up, Stan? Outside with the haze. I seen you come up earlier. I'm sorry I missed your name. And does a killer job. And he's pulling the Patriot bobbers in the middle, 2 of them on 2 rods, and he staggers them. What's up, crazy catfishing? Haven't been catfishing so long. I know. I'm exactly with you, my friend. If I didn't stay on top of what everybody else is doing, I'd say, well, man, I just gonna have to start all over, and I really probably need to go back to the basics. But what he's talking about is staggering his baits. And I thought that he maybe suspended some of his baits, but he doesn't. Is that, yeah, he's a superhero. You daggum right. Great guy. Watch his videos, guys. He can show you a lot of different techniques that he uses. It might work on your waters and it might not. That's coming down to you learning your waters, what it's going to take. Not for just today, but for every season and every condition. Because things change from one day to the next. I've heard Lyle say more than one time that people pre-fish. What's up, Rex? Pre-fish for a tournament like crazy, and then the day of the tournament, a front moves in and the bite changes and it throws people off. What's up, Kevin? It throws people off of their game. That's why you need a plan A, B, C, D, and E, F, G, all the way to Z sometimes. But if you can cover your bases, Junior long lines behind his peel and drag. He long lines behind his planter boards and also his floats. But on his floats, let me open this up. On his floats, he changes and takes off the sinker slide off the bottom of it, and he adds the clips just like his planter boards. And that way he uses it like a planter board straight out the back. And what that does, I thought it was just he was using it as an indicator. Right, Chad. I thought he was using it just as an indicator that he was getting a bite. But when we got to talking, it makes total sense what he's thinking and what he's saying. The board's outside and the bobber's in the middle, and he's running long lines. He'll throw out, say, 50 foot, 100 foot behind the float, clip them on. Same thing with his planter boards, but he staggers them so you won't get them all hung up when one hits or whatever. Same thing with the bobber. He'll stagger them. But what his thinking is, and I totally agree with him, and if y'all feel that it's something different, please chime in. I'm sure Junior's reading and watching, is that little extra line. Usually if you're dragging baits, that line's got tension, a pretty good bit of tension. And you've got a little bit of tension just from the weight out your leader to your bait. But when you're pulling a planter board or a float and your line goes up and then comes back to your rod, you got a little extra slack in that line. And his thinking is that gives that fish time to pick that bait up without feeling a lot of resistance, but that bobber or that planter board is giving just enough resistance to take that circle hook and turn it in that fish's mouth. To me, it's almost, and he agreed, it's almost like running your rods with the clickers on and free spool so the fish don't feel that tension, and then you're locking your rig in. Once he gets that rod and that line pulled tight, then it pulls down. It really rotates that hook and sticks it in the jaw. I agree. I never thought of it about that way, but I agree 100% that that's probably what's going on. He said he feels like he's getting better hookups than if he was just dragging straight baits. Yeah, it's hard to, I guess, Palmetto, it's hard for them little ones to actually put that much of a change in a planter board. What's up, Irvin? But I like suspending, I guess, because when I first started watching YouTube videos, I watched a lot of the Steve Douglas suspend fishing. I like fishing my rod straight down. Because there ain't nothing like watching that rod double over and it's straight underneath the boat and you try to get that rod out of that stand. It's fun. But at the same time, you don't catch a lot of fish. I don't. Straight down. Usually it's the rods out away from your boat. What's up? Your boy Troy Catfishing. JBM. Appreciate that, guys, coming in. Appreciate your support. Robbie Thompson. Some new names. Check them out, guys. Some new channels. Share them some love if you don't mind. But that's what I want to talk about is what techniques that you use for fall, winter, summer, spring, changing waters, high water, low water. write down, start your journal, write down those different days of different water conditions and what you had to change up to get those fish to bite. Did you go home skunk, or did you change and try a different technique just to get those fish to bite? And if you did, make sure you write down what you was doing that was not working in that water condition and water temp, and what you changed that made them start biting. What's up, big cats and bourbon? Santee on those boards. Low country catch one of those 50-pound. Yes, yes. There's Nebraska in here. We got all kind of good people. We appreciate everybody coming in. We're gonna give this pink bobber away tonight. That's the only one I brought up here with me. I had my hands full. But Mike, I watch him bumping. I listen to Lyle and him talk about bumping, 1-ton fishing. That is a different technique. Mike, give us an insight, and Lyle, give us an insight. Is that technique good on rivers and all different conditions, or do you change up and do something different? What's up, Bill of Rights, my friend? I ain't seen you in here in a while. Appreciate you coming in. Do you change up, or do you change your speed of bumping when the conditions change? What forces you to change your techniques from bumping to dragging or to anchoring up? The other day, I was at a local lake pond, Arizona. The guys was using round reels, and one, he caught a 4-pound blue cat, roughly around. Oh, I hear you. That's cool. What's up, Willie? We got all kind of great people. Steven coming in. So what helps you change your mind about what's not working? I know if you're not getting a bite and you're marking fish, you know you should be getting that bite. Why would you change from bumping to dragging to anchoring? What helps you make that decision, and what techniques? Current. The Ohio River can go from almost a lake, then doing a swinge up and suspend drifting. Okay. So when you lose current, that's basically what changes you up. You'll change up everything or anything and anything to make them go. So what's the craziest bait you use? There's I'm going to use what's a natural bait, and probably a good bait to try when they won't go is a big old water night crawlers. No current, no bumping. Also water temperature. All right, Mike, I appreciate it. Now, if you're seeing mud on those fish and you still got current and you know that they're laying, will you still bump? Lyle too. There's Keith in the house. Bites to, so you're taking the bait to the fish. Yeah, well, yeah, you got a daggone point there. You're covering more water by dragging baits. I agree, Keith. But do you think that there's a time when you can't drag? If the water temperatures or the fish are laying down or whatever, do you think that there's a time when not to drag? Oh, that's right. It is Keith's birthday. Happy birthday, my friend. That's what I'm saying, guys. I want to keep stuff on your mind. All right. Thank you, Lyle. Keep things on your mind so you can turn those bad days into a decent day or even a good day. You're still not sold on dragging. You like to spin drifting when the current is low. Okay. Different times, I guess we're more of a lake fisherman out here because we have very few rivers. Right back 2 weeks ago, Wiley, you probably could have bumped Wiley. But on Wiley, though, like I said, those fish are not used to current. You're right, Keith. They're not used to current, Mr. Gadget. So when we start getting a week long of current, those fish are going to disappear. They're going to either lay down in holes or they just going to disappear and run to the creeks or whatever to get out of that current. In the South, I will drag 365. There you go, guys. I guess if the water temperature forces it down, but our waters don't ever get to that temperature very seldom unless we have a very long extended cold. Well, our waters get to the point that we can still catch a flathead or two in the wintertime around here, where a lot of people say they disappear on them. But those techniques is going to have to change up. Yeah, they can go shallow, Mike. They can go shallow. That's when I like to fish shallow, is when our lakes are getting out of the water. I mean, out of the banks, when it's flooding. I just don't like taking my boat out on them waters. A pontoon, it'll pull every freaking log in between your tunes, and you're going to tear something up. So I'm not a rich man. I don't feel like tearing the foot off a daggum boat motor. I think the pontoons can take a dent or two, but I don't think that motor could take a hit. So when you're changing up your techniques, you're changing up the presentation of how the fish are seeing your bait. Always keep in your mind that you need to make sure that bait is always looking as natural as what they're going to see coming down the water. Whether it's floating around or laying there, you're going to want that bait to be as natural as possible. Now, when those fish are up and feeding in the spring or in the fall, early fall, when they're loading up, getting ready for wintertime, they'll about take a bait any way you put it to them. Nebraska, I'd have to fly out there, buddy. There's no way I can make that drive. I'd love to. What's up, S&K? I mean, SKs, I'm sorry. Michael Murillo. Yeah, your wife ratted you out there, Keith. Real cold water. You slow down. There you go. They eat moving fish, so I suspend and drag. That's Pill and Drag. There you go. Oh, Pillin been doing some fishing. There's Grants in the house. We got all kind of good people coming in here. I appreciate it all, guys. So pay attention, guys. Pay attention to what the fish are telling you. 58 people. 58 people. I appreciate everybody coming in here. We'll do a giveaway at 8:30. Pay attention to what the fish are telling you. Catfish regulators. Guys, we got all kind of new people in here. New channels. Check them out. Share the love. I'd love to bump. I used to love the bass fish. I still love bass fishing, but I think that would just be too cool. I think I could really get into it. I don't think my back would. I'd have to probably pull a Bill Dance and sit in a chair and bump, but I could. I believe I could get into doing that. It just seems like fun. And there's a few techniques that I want to try once the fish are. There's the wandering fisherman. Good gracious, all kind of new people. Brandon, appreciate everybody coming up. Hit the thumbs up. Appreciate that. Share if you want to share. I'm just trying to bring some awareness to different techniques that people use across the country. Sonny Parker's in the house. What Creole uses down in Louisiana might not work here, but then again, it might. You might have to tweak that little technique a little bit. Like somebody was saying earlier, just the difference in the rod tip might make all the difference in how the hookup is. Troy L. So pay attention, just like dragging baits. If you go to make a long turn and you're dragging baits, your outside rods baits are going to speed up. Your inside are going to slow down. And when you're making that turn, if them inside baits slow down, that's slowing down, start getting the bites, look at your depth finder. See how fast you're going. That might be the speed that you start dragging all your baits. Or if they start hitting the rods on the outside where the bait is sped up, then you might need to speed up your speed, drag them faster. Oh, I'm sure, Mike. I'm sure that's I'm sure that would get addicted, man. I just I couldn't imagine. I'd probably have to tie it to my hand to keep me from losing it, but I just that would just have to be a blast. Just like kayak fishing. I know that that has to be just the ultimate fishing, just fun, 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 fun. I can't get my crippled tail in a kayak. I could get in it, but you'd have to pull me out and haul me to the hospital after I got out of it. But I know that would just have to be the ultimate. That's a different technique, guys. Fishing off a pontoon to a kayak is two different techniques. You can use, there can be close to the same, but they're not. So pay attention to those little bitty details, and your fishing trips will start getting better and better and better. Don't take nothing for granted. What that fish is telling you, I'm hungry, it's amazing. He might not want brim. He might want shad. He might want another bait that you don't have in your tackle box or in your bait tank. Figure that out. Yeah, Mike, I learned that throwing a buzz bait for bass fishing. You get in that rhythm. You get in that rhythm. You ain't getting a bite, and all of a sudden that rascal will hit that buzz bait on top of the water right beside your boat. I have smacked myself in the head and ducked buzz baits and everything because you get that tunnel vision. Everything, the world starts shrinking, and you get into that technique. And I could see that bumping that it would. I'm sure today's been people lose rods and reels over the side of the boat because of that. There you go, Philip. At Mississippi, I'm sure throw some on it. Yeah, Billy writes, I seen you lose that rod. Hey, it's happened to the best of us, my friend. It's happened. I've even threw one off the boat, did not mean it to. It was my grandpa's. Rare back to throw it off and just throw rod, reel, everything right off in the water. I'm sure my grandpa wanted that one back, but it happens. But I do. I want to do that. But while we got all these different people in here, 58 people, man, that's just wonderful. Thank y'all for your support. I'm sitting here running off at the mouth, and I've got all this support, and it means the world to me, guys and gals. It does. Had a bass hit my buzz bait at the boat. Billy writes, and like I said, I'm surprised I ain't got hooks. Look like one of these people with daggum piercings all over their bodies, having them things smack me in the head and the body and everything else because of that. But what I was wanting to ask, there's a technique that I'm wanting to try, and that's pitching big jigs with either live bait, cut bait, or rubber bait for flathead catfish. I've only seen one or two videos of some guys doing it, and they was tubing up behind a dam and pitching big rubber jigs behind boulders and catching flatheads. Have y'all heard or seen? If you know what I'm talking about, please remind me, because I want to look it back up. I have looked and looked for those videos, and I cannot find them. It's I have caught so many catfish in the past, bass fishing, they'd hit daggum pigs and jigs and fake crawdads, big rubber worms. Yeah, it looked like they fell in the daggum tackle box. You're exactly right, Junior. It's time on the water, guys. That is probably one of the main things. Yeah, Palmetto, I'm just about through getting all the rules and regulations wrote up. I will be posting that up probably in about another week. On the tournament is still April the 18th, 17th, and 18th. I'm talking with some veterans. I'm trying to find a VFW that's close that we can actually do a captain's meeting at. Right now, excuse my language, our dumbass governor has shut North Carolina down again. So right now, all that's on hold. Nobody will give me an answer on anything. So, guys, until they open North Carolina back up, I'm still say we're going to go with it, but we'll have to play it by ear. It's getting ridiculous. It is just getting ridiculous. You catch jig heads and paddle tails, minnows, and catch a bunch of flats and blues. That's what I'm thinking. There's somebody out there's got a video on that, and I want to see it. Yes, I've caught not flatheads, but I've caught blues and channels, big channels, on crankbaits, on daggum big rubber worms, crawdads, pigs and jigs, flipping those jigs up against brush and stuff. They use striper-sized jigs. I want to start doing it and just see what happens. I might be wasting my time, but Irvin has got the perfect, he fishes off a bass boat. That would be the ultimate. You stand on the front of that bass boat and fish the bridge pylons, docks, and stuff like that. Buddy of mine back a couple months ago, he's a bass fisherman, and was tearing the blues up, fishing big rubber worms and jigs underneath docks. Those blues was underneath the docks. I guess eating brim or whatever, but he was wearing them out, chasing bass, but catching catfish. Deep County. Did I miss something? Yeah, all right. It's getting crazy, guys. All right, Stan. Appreciate that. Where y'all at with links? I hadn't seen no links yet, Muskrat. And I want to bring up one thing. Message back and forth with Roger today. And Roger, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I'm going to make it up to you. I promise you. I think Roger's the only one that won some of the red, white, and blue floats from me. If anybody else won any of the red, white, and blue floats, contact me. What's up, Cat Kings? Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. Let me know. The glue that I used to glue those floats together, the pool noodles was pieced, and the glue let go. And did not hold. I will be sending Roger out some new floats. It will not be the red, white, and blue ones. I'm not going to try to glue them back together like that. It's that wasn't going to work. I apologize for that for Roger. And if anybody else got them and they did come apart, please contact me. I will make this right. I will make sure that you do get them. What's up, Stephen Corley? And if you have any other problems with them, please, guys, let me know. Let's make this right. Figure out a problem. If there's a problem going on, I need to know. If you do not get your product in the mail, let me know. Guys, I can't make a wrench right now. I apologize. It's hard to do it on a computer when you're live. I have to go back and see if I can get some wrenches out. Catfish Heroes, what's going on? Watching stuff and waiting for supper. I didn't eat supper tonight. I'll probably eat too late and end up with indigestion when I lay down. But back to techniques. What's up, Michael? We got all kind of good people coming in here. What time is it? At 8:30? It's 8:34. Let's give a bobber away. Hold up a second. Let me pull this up. Yeah, our post office here in Kings Mountain Somebody decided to try to drive up the steps and through the front door day before yesterday and run into an old man that was inside. So they gonna have to do something. But yeah, the mail is slow. Getting parts for these floats that I use, because I don't use cheap parts, guys. It took me 4 weeks to get some swivels. It's crazy. And I don't know how these bait and tackle shops are staying above water of getting product. Billy Rod, you ain't right. Facebook Messenger Hayes is James Smith. You should be able to see it. It's got Donald Trump's face on the front of it. Or you can message me or text me at 704-600-8369. All right, let's see who we're going to have. Guys, talk it up. Talk. Put your name in chat. The more you chat, the more opportunity you get the chance to win. Boom. Epic catfishing. Epic catfish. Epic catfish. My friend, contact me on Messenger or at 704-600-8369. And you get a pink float coming to you. If you talk real nice, though, we might find you a different color. But if you like pink or don't mind pink, I promise you, that pink light is one of the lights that you will spot way off out in the water, probably more than any other color. What's up, Robert? So, congratulations. Appreciate your support, my friend. And 65 people, 66 people. Lord have mercy. Keep it going, guys. And we'll do another giveaway. And that one was for a single pack. Let's say if we can get them up to 75 people in here, guys, we'll do a double pack. The Wandering Fisherman. Yeah, that for some reason, that pink light stands out like a sore thumb. It really does. It's amazing. Betty Cross got some of the first pink ones, and she sent me pictures of that pink light out in the middle of the water at night. And I changed all my green floats over to pink lights. Took the green lights off, put pink lights on them. Yep, JP3's got the blue ones. But they're different technique, guys. Watch Junior Proctor. You might want to change them up if you like dragging baits. Watch 812. He fishes a lot and catches a lot of flatheads with them. But it's all technique, guys. Whether you use my floats, whether you use the Muddy River floats, or whether you use the Whisker Seeker floats, it don't matter. It's all just a tool. Try your different tools that's in your toolbox to catch the fish that you're after. Wait a minute, I missed a comment. Sorry about that. Monsters. Yeah, and if you do, guys, if y'all got the floats, please send me some pictures. North Carolina bait fishermen. I guess the best advice I can give you that is that look at navionics, study your navionics for the areas that you get to fish off the bank. I know most areas in North Carolina, you're kind of limited to where you can fish off of the bank. Study your navionics. There's places out there that you might can find that the river channel cuts close to the bank, that you got debris down, the inside bends, outside bends. You might have a hole right out in front of you, 5 foot off, 10 foot off of the bank, and you might be trying to cast to the middle of the lake. Guys, don't be scared to throw 10 foot off of the bank in front of you. Step back from the bank. I have caught so many fish out in the water on my boat, throwing 2 foot off of the bank, catching fish 2 foot off of the bank. So if you're on the bank, don't all throw all your rods out to the middle of the lake. Those fish might be right there in front of you, swimming back and forth, eating brim, eating everything else that's right on that bank. JBT, we got all kind of good people coming in here. Navionics is, yeah, you Google Earth too. You're right. Use all the tools, setting hooks, use all the tools that you have available to you. JBT, if I miss somebody, I do apologize. Uncle Josh is in the house. Mike Chavez. Mike, I know you cooking up something good tonight. But there's so many different tools and techniques. Catfishing can be as Gavin was bank fishing on Wiley last weekend, caught a fish in less than 5 foot of water. There you go, guys. So they're not always out in deep water. They're not always a long way away from the bank. Sometimes they ride against the bank. You got, especially if you got undercut banks and the water's up over those undercuts, those catfish love to lay there. They'll come up and feed. Mr. Hagen Grubs. That's another great channel that Hagen gives out a lot of great information, guys. All of them do. Just check them out. He tries different techniques. He tries different baits. He tries different setups. That's what it takes to put fish on the boat, is don't be scared to think outside that box. Don't. Because that's what's changed catfishing. From where it used to be just a good old boy sport to now having big tournaments that's growing, is somebody thought outside the box. Used to, we fished for catfish with an egg sinker, a barrel swivel, a leader, and a hook, a J hook. Most of the time we used big old bass worm hooks because they was long shank, and most of them was kind of offset. Is that it's the different techniques that is out there, and the way catfishing's changed is because somebody thought outside the box. They said, well, I've got to try this. Or it might have been that desperation forced that change. Bad day after bad day after bad day, and you doing the same thing. That's what the definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day, expecting a different result. So if the same thing you're doing every day is not working, don't go insane. Change it. Change what you're doing. But write down the changes so it's repeatable. That's science. You want to repeat those results. And once you start repeating those results, the days on the water starts getting better. Just like Junior Proctor said, it's going to be time on the water. Time on the water is going to be your best friend. But the best tool in your tackle box is right there, is your brain. Don't forget it. Heck yeah, don't south. We've caught flatheads trolling with deep divers in 15 to 17 foot of water. Yeah. There's an old man up on Lake Norman that he pulls the big, long, skinny baits that's got the big diver on the front of it. And he pulls them down pretty deep, and he catches some good fish. $177. Well, congratulations, guys. It's this time. It's you when you get into YouTube, is that if you get into it to want to make a lot of money, or you get into it like me, I want to make sure that my grandbabies still have videos that they can watch their pawpaw out fishing or having live shows or whatever. Gives them something to look, gives me something to look at. when I get old and forget who I am, I can watch a video and say, well, who's that rascal right there? And might remember. Well, you know, and Lyle will tell you the same thing. It's like drag racing. Most of the time, it's in between the steering wheel and the seats what's getting the race won, not what's under the hood. Yeah, Flint Hill's good too. All of them are, guys. I'm telling you, there's so many different techniques being used right now with different people. Is that it's amazing. You might think it's the same. They got a demon dragon, they got a circle hook, they got a swivel, they got a weight, they got a dragon weight, and everybody thinks, well, they're doing the same thing I'm doing. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They might be dragging that through heavy brush, rocky areas, deep holes, shallow water. You never know until you really sit down and pay attention to the very small details of what's actually going on. Knocker rigs. I just seen somebody say something about the modified knocker rigs and stuff like that. You're exactly right. But as far as the YouTube channel, figure out what you want to do. I just wanted to put up videos. I want to be able to go live on my mobile. So when I'm out fishing, I can take y'all along with me. You're right. 60 people, 100 different techniques. And just because they're using the same stuff, the same product, that don't mean they're using the same technique that you do. Or they might be changing it up just a little bit. That's right. We all do things just a little bit different. And it could be the difference, like he said earlier, the difference in the rods. You know, and it can come down to difference in the line. Lyle loves his braid. I love mono. I like braid for certain things, but for catfishing, I like mono. But I like Andy line because it don't have a whole lot of stretch to it. With that being said, that technique that I use with mono, I might get better results if I use braid. So pay attention to that, guys. Location, location, location. There you go. Feeling drag. There you go. And it does, you know, back to the bait fisherman, guys. I'm sorry. I wandered off. Squirrel. Bait fishermen, guys, don't rule out any part of that water that's there in front of you. Do your homework. Pay attention to what Navionics and Google Earth will tell you. On your Google Earth, if you go to the top of your page, you'll see a little sunshine and you'll see a couple little things. There's a thing up there that can take you, what's up, Scotty Hill? That take you back through the timeline. Go back through the timeline, find the times of high water, find the times of low water. There might be a good brush pile or a rock pile right out in front of you or up the lake a little bit from you that you can still reach. But during high water or regular water, you might not know it's there. But if you go back through the timeline and find when they've got the lakes pulled way down, did Steve Douglas come in here? No, he didn't come in here, surely. Anyway, did he? Mr. Steve Douglas, the catfish dude. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you coming into the show. But use your Navionics, use your Google Earth, go back through the timeline, look at your water at high water times, normal water times, and low water times. You will see stuff on that water that you didn't know was there. That might be the whole difference. That rock pile might be holding a ton of fish in high water times or regular water times. But if you don't use all the tools at your expense, then you're actually crapping yourself out of good fishing time. I've learned a lot from a lot of guys on here, from Lyle, Steve, Douglas. You know, I love dragging suspended baits, but I also like dragging long line baits. I'm learning that from Junior Proctor. Each one of you has something to add to each other. Pay attention. Pay attention to the small details. Just because they're using the same bait, same hook, same swivel, same weight, same hook, line, rod, reels. If you're using the same of everything, the technique is different. The technique is totally different. I watched one of Steve Douglas. He likes fishing them long, where he can get long drifts with his bait suspended. But somebody else might like the daggum curvy up and down ones. It all depends on the fisherman himself, what he's willing to deal with. I'm a lazy fisherman. I'm like my buddy. Hey, he'll tell you real. Gabby Goose, hey girl. I'm glad Gabby's coming in here. Good to see her back in here. Chesapeake Bay fishing. Pay attention to what they're doing and why they are doing it. That technique that they're using, like Steve, he's dragging those long. He's keeping his baits a foot, 2 foot, 3 foot off of the bottom. What's up, 777s? Why is he doing that? Don't ask where he's doing it. Ask why is he doing it at the place he's doing it. That's the best information that you can get as to is why. Act like a kid, a 2-year-old kid that's learning to talk. Why? The more whys you answer, Whisker Time Fishing. What's up, Mark? Good to see you come in, my friend. I hope you're off the road and being safe. Once you're anchored, you're secure. Dinks Outdoor. Palmetto, if I could get somebody to pull my anchors, I'd do a lot more anchoring. I really would. I hate pulling anchors. It kills my back, but that's good. Yep, good, Mark. Good. I'm glad you're home and safe. Well, off the road and safe. You might not be at home. Oh, Dinks is in here. What's up, Dinks? So Steve has a lot of great techniques. Lyle has a lot of great techniques. Palmetto, Junior Proctor, everybody in here fishes a little different, probably with the same product, but they're using it a little different. Richard Warskow, J.R. Warskow's brother, he considers shallow water 10 foot and up. I consider shallow water 5 foot and shallower. I love shallow water fishing. I learned that from Wampus Cat. I never would have thought about shallow water, especially in wintertime. But January and February we was catching 30s, 40s, 20s, 30s, and 40s in 4 and 2 foot of water. I would have never guessed that. So don't rule it out. My favorite saying, and most of you have done heard it, you don't know till you throw. So throw them out there, check it. Bill and Drag says 25 foot and up for him is shallow. And I think that's about the same as what Lyle was talking about. 25 foot and up is shallow for him. He mainly fishes water. Rivers. Spot lock would change your life. I tell you what, Mike, how about throwing that spot lock trolling motor over here, and I'll do a lot more of it. My trolling motor won't spot lock. I'm lucky to have a remote for mine, which changed my whole world too of dragging baits. You love getting that arm pump from pulling anchors. Well, I tell you what, you come jump on my boat, I'll let you pull that anchor all you freaking want to. All you want to. My back can't do it. 7 back surgeries. My back's had enough of pulling stuff. That's why I put some daggum shallow water spud poles on my daggum pontoon. It's 2 to 5 foot in Lake Moultrie. Don't be scared of it, guys. Don't be scared of them stumps either. You find you a stump field, float you a bobber. Throw them baits out there. Just be aware. You need baits at 35 to 60 foot. There you go. Yeah. I tell you what, Mark, That box anchor holds. It does the job, but that's a monster to pull up, buddy. That is a monster to freaking pull up. I appreciate that. Mark, Whisker Time Fishing give me a daggum box anchor for my pontoon. And that rascal holds too, boy. The only time I think it won't hold, and I have yet to find that spot, is a real rocky area where you got bedrock or something. I think it would have trouble grabbing. Well, done fishing. I hear you. I'll let you. I can't wait to get back on the water. I'm missing it. It's getting that time that I got to get out there. It's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. Yeah, Mark, it is. It's a booger getting up, but it does hold. Until February, we caught 30 fish in the same spot in less than 15 foot of water. There you go, Pill and Drag. Something a little bit different. Epic anchor weighs 40 pounds. Son of a gun. No. Now, I'll tell you, something a little guy, no 40-pound anchor. You got that right. You got that right, Muskrat. I learned a technique from Wampus Cat. He's got a pontoon also. Is we put out our anchors, but we got a big chunk of lead. And once we get it anchored, we'll drop that chunk of lead with a rope on it straight down the side of the boat hard and let it bury up in the mud and then tie it off with a little bit of slack. And a lot of times that'll keep your boat from doing this right here. If you're having especially if you're having a long line, your anchor ropes, it'll help take a lot of that swivel out of your boat. You need a spot lock on your Crocs. Oh, Mike's Outdoor depth finders called Boat Green. It showed depth spots in lakes. There you go, Mike. Yeah, use everything that's at your fingertips, guys, to help you, whether you fish off a boat or whether you fish off the bank or whether you kayak or whether you just float tube down the river. There's so many different things that you can do that will increase your catch of catfish. Because I got a feeling, guys and gals, that there's a lot more catfish in our waters than we think they are. I think we go over a lot, whether they dinks, which I don't care. As long as I'm catching fish, I love the fight of all of them. Who's that? A 30-pound dumbbell on a rope and do that? Yeah. What's up, P City? P City Smitty. There you go. That's a pretty cool name. Fish from the bank. I guess I could drop an anchor from the hitch to the ground. Don't want that truck to move. What's up, Aiden? There's my grandson, guys and gals. Mr. Aiden Bingham. There's my little grandson. Got to see them the other week. I enjoyed that, spending time with them. Sure did. Got to take him out catfishing. We're going to do some more of that. I want to put them on some good ones. But another technique, guys, that don't rule out, and that is free lining. I free lined for many a year, and it was because of the area that I fished. I had to. Anything that you put on there, it was next to a bridge, and there was so much debris in that water that it didn't matter what kind of hook, line, sinker you put on there, you was going to lose it. So if I needed to anchor down because of the current had picked up so much, then I would do basically like a Kentucky rig, but say 30-pound main line, and my drop line, I would do like 14-pound test and tie a spark plug on it because you knew you was going to lose it. So I would throw it out, let it hit the bottom, and it would lodge in the rocks or in the debris down there. My bait would be up here off of the bottom, away from all that debris. So when a catfish hit it, If he didn't break that line, then you could. Once you hooked up, you could pop that line off there and still have the fish to fight. When you got him in, you could tie you another leader, another spark plug, and you was good to go. That's a different technique. I used that down behind the Lake Wiley Dam. So much rock in that area, you knew that you was going to lose your stuff. Now there we had to use longer drop lines. We'd use a 4-foot drop line and usually have to use a bigger weight than just a single spark plug. Usually tie 2 or 3 spark plugs on it. And when it hit the bottom, it would lodge. But your bait would be up out of the bigger rocks because down there, these big boulders and stuff, and you wanted your bait up out of there because it was still a struggle just to get a fish in from there. So learn your waters. Learn what technique you're going to have to use to pull those fish in out of that, what you need. But back to the free lining. I love free lining. I was forced to free line. What I would do and where I fished underneath that one bridge, I would throw that bait up. It was at that bridge, the lake narrowed down right there. So even when they wasn't pulling water, you still had a little bit of current. So that bait would naturally just drift down through the water in natural form. And I'm telling you, but, it's a big but. You have to be a line watcher, guys, because that technique, you can gut hook fish. They will grab that bait and swallow it just like that. I love free lining. Jeff Coat. Free lines behind his planter boards on Santee, pulling planter boards and very, very shallow water. And has had 30s, 40s, and 50-pound catfish grab those baits on the surface of the water. Now, I have yet to have one grab a bait on the surface of the water. I can imagine if you was doing that at night about half asleep, it would startle you to death. Sound like an alligator hitting the water. What's up, Tackle Box Mike? But that's the fun part, guys. Just like he said, that is the fun part of fishing, is figuring it out of what it's going to take to do it. Free lining, it can be so much fun, especially in shallow water, guys. Or if you notice on your depth finder that those fish are suspending up way off of the bottom, don't be scared to do it. That is the most natural presentation that you can have. Hoosier, what's going on? Dragging chains slow down their drift. Anyone experience dragging? No, but it makes sense. What's up, Leroy? Reporting for duty. Well, tell us how you fishing out there in St. Louis. I'm sure you probably could do that. Most people I know use drifting socks instead of chains. But I'm sure dragging a chain would sure do it. Great Tackle Box. Enjoyed trying out and figuring it out. I think that's and if ladies is in here, still in here, I'm going to apologize for what I'm getting ready to say. I think that is what men get out of fishing, hunting, playing golf, or whatever the sports part of it is, that no matter how good you get at it, there's always something to learn. There's always something that's going to challenge your brain. It's going to challenge your mind. It's going to say, hey, I got to figure this out. And most men that I know, it's going to drive you crazy until you do figure it out. That's why we no longer live in caves, guys, is that we set out to figure out what is going to take to make what we love doing happen. Mark, be safe out there. Guys, Mark, he's a truck driver. give him a big thanks and a big appreciation for what you do for us, guy. Without you, we don't eat. Without you, we can't get our tackle. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you coming in. All right, guys, let me do a spin. Everybody say hey. Say hey, get your name in the chat. Let's get this chat rolling. We're gonna give away. We got pretty close to 70, so we're gonna give away a 2-pack. That's the challenge. Exactly right. Yo, yo, yo. There you go. That's the word of the night. Yo, yo, yo. Here we go. Around and around we go. Well, he won last week. 777s, I can't give it to you again this week, my friend. The Wandering Fisherman. The Wandering Fisherman. The Wandering Fisherman. You can look at me up on Messenger, on Facebook, or 704-600-8369. Send me a message. Send me your address, and we'll get these out to you, my friend. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for supporting my show. Thank you for supporting all of our shows, whether it's Catfish Weekly, whether it's, oh my God, this went brain dead. He's in here tonight. Muskrat Adventures, my show right now, Palmetto Sunday night. You got all these great shows, guys. Come in there, check them out. Learn a little bit. James Dockery and Chad on Thursday nights. You got Stacey Gaston and them also on Tuesday nights. We got so many great shows, so much great information. Go in, give a thumbs up, give your support, guys. It means a lot to each and every one of us to know that y'all enjoy coming on here, listening to us gab. Guys, I'm going to start bringing more people back into the shows. I've been a little busy, no excuses. So, everybody, I hope you have a blessed day, blessed night, blessed week, and blessed year. God bless each and every one of you. God bless America. God bless all of our veterans, both active servicemen and veterans. It means the world to me and my family. To each and every one of you, good night. Contact me, guys. Get these bobbers out to you. Take care. And we'll see y'all in chat somewhere. Same bat time. Good night.